Hi, Sagittarius rising sign. Welcome back to my channel. We are going to be looking at the first week of June, June 1st through June 7th. So, this week brings quite an explosive, game-changing upgrade straight to your relationship sector, your daily operations, and your long-term security. You are moving from a kind of stubborn friction between your workload and the contract through a radical lightning bolt shakeup within your marriage, business partnership, client contracts, and landing at a crossroad where you must balance your joint finances with your creative passion projects. So the story of the week is about shedding old habits of professional people pleasing, stepping unapologetically into your relational sovereignty, and completely rewriting the rules of how you communicate. So let's map this out day by day so you can control the narratives. On June 1st, the story begins with a bit of a tension between Mars and Juno. Mars is currently running through your sixth house, the house of service, as well as daily habits, daily routines, and workload. And Juno in Aquarius in your third house, the house of communication. Now, Mars in Taurus gives you an incredibly stubborn, unyielding drive to get things done your way, kind of like building things up from the ground, but it also makes you highly resistant to changing your perspective on workflow. Now, Monday, Mars throws that square to Juno in your third house. Juno represents our binding commitments and contracts. And in your third house, this covers daily communications, agreements with siblings or neighbors, local networking, and the fine print of your schedules. So you're likely to experience a bit of a tug of war between the physical demands of your daily job or routine and maybe a verbal agreement or a contract you made with a sibling or someone in the local environment. Someone in your immediate environment might push back against your daily schedule, or a contract might demand details that disrupts your physical workflow. I mean, especially if you're like a contractual person, imagine that you started building something up, Taurus, and then the client comes up with another idea, and you have to be changing the narratives of that work. So this is not necessarily a day to force an immediate verbal solution. Digging your heels in too deep today, we will only fracture potentially a necessary connection later on. But we do have got a bit of a stabilizing energy coming up the following day when the sun, which spotlights your seventh house, is going to be making a sextile to Saturn in your fifth house. Tuesday is an exceptional day for locking in structured creative commitments with others. While you are interacting heavily with clients or a partner under that Gemini sun, its connection to Saturn gives it that practical discipline to build something long-lasting. This is the perfect day to pitch a creative project to a collaborator, negotiate the terms of a joint business venture, or set firm long-term rules in a relationship. Saturn in your fifth house gives you creative output, immense structure. Partners and clients will respect your authority. So a serious approach today could be a great window to anchor your ideas into kind of like a real contract. On June 3rd, we do have got a bit of a busier day actually, because Mercury, the ruler of the South Node, is in sextile to South Node, and at the same time, it is trining your North Node. So that's going to be your fourth and 10th house. And also, we have got Ceres and Uranus conjunction happening as well. Now, first, Mercury is moving through your eighth house. There are a lot of talks about investments, joint ventures, or you are processing something psychologically. But it is forming that beautiful trine to the north node in your fourth house, the house of home, family roots, inner security, and that beautiful sextile to the south node as well, in the 10th house of career and public status. For a long time, Sagittarius rising, you might have been caught in 10th house south node trap, obsessing over public validation, overanalyzing your career title, getting micromanaged by corporate demands. But Wednesday should start breaking this spell. A deep financial conversation, for example, or with family members or with your boss, a psychological epiphany regarding your dependencies connects you directly to that inner peace and home life. This might be about forgiveness. This might be about talking about selling a property, for example, investing into a property. But the South Node and the North Node together are really about balancing out your work and home life. And maybe this time around, you're going to have to be able to choose staying kind of like at home rather than having to go to work all the time. Uh, it's about you kind of like digging deep so that you can find that inner peace. You can rebuild the inner foundation, really. Maybe you realize that you cannot let career anxiety somehow stall your domestic foundation. You step confidently into that private power, trusting your gut feelings as well. Or simply, this is about forgiveness, like forgiving for all the crises that the family has ever caused you. Simultaneously, Ceres meets Uranus in your seventh house. So this is a literal lightning bolt to your relationships, marriages, business partnership, client contracts. So a sudden unexpected shift in a client agreement, a shocking update from a spouse, or simply we are going to be agreeing within a partnership that, like, let's grow together. And we are going to be trying ways of growing together, something that is a little bit out of the box, something that we have never tried before. Uranus in the seventh house always wants us to upgrade the way we reach clients, the way we communicate to each other. Uranus in the seventh house can represent a bit of a banter as well. So, and maybe it's a decision to completely change how you compromise with others. Of course, it can be a shock to the system as well, because you are completely upgrading how you show up one on one. This could also indicate, though, that because you don't feel nurtured by your partner, you feel like that you guys are not on the same wavelength. You are not being intellectually fed. So I decide to kind of walk out of a major connection. Now, this is a question that I receive a lot on whenever I speak about relationships on YouTube, and then people say that, oh, but I'm single. You don't always have to just think of romantic connections. So the seventh house is about legal matters, business partnership, contractual agreement, just someone in the world. That's why it's called the house of enemies, because it's opposing you. So it's a person that we are not on the same wavelength with. And it's not necessarily just about like, having to go to court, for example, to sort an issue out. So if you are experiencing an issue with someone, this could actually kind of like show, I'm going to walk out of it, or we are going to be nurturing our connections by sitting down and talk it through. Now, on June 4th and 5th, it looks like that you are kind of like in a relationship crossroad, or you are having this visionary spark. Well, Bacchus enters Leo, which is your ninth house. Ceres starts squaring the nodes, and we have just spoken about Ceres. And Juno goes retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. So that's your third house. So firstly, Bacchus enters your ninth house. So this could talk to you about celebration. Like, let's go and celebrate somewhere in a foreign country. This could be a philosophical inspiration as well, a desire to travel, a desire to publish, a desire to share your grandest insights with the world. But then Friday, on June 5th, we're going to have to do a bit of an assessment here. Ceres in your seventh house is moving into that square with the nodes. So that's a massive relationship shakeup from Wednesday. It's kind of like a crossroad with your career and your home life. So you might find yourself trying to use cold, like the hypological Gemini arguments to solve a deeply emotional matter in a partnership or client contract issue. But the universe is blocking the escape hatch. If you fall back into the old patterns of obsessing over public status or trying to micromanage your partner's reactions, you will trigger extreme frustration. It says, trust the baseline security of your home, trust the family members, trust your inner foundation, trust your hunches. And to add to this, Juno officially stations retrograde in your third house. And for the next few months, your daily communication, local contracts, your connections with the siblings, your short-term agreements are going under a major audit. You are being asked whether the local commitments are scheduled genuinely fair, or am I sacrificing my mental freedom to keep a promise? On the same day, actually, on the 5th, Persephone enters Taurus, which is your sixth house. And on the 6th, asteroid Lilith enters Gemini, which is your seventh house. So remember the intense workload and schedule tension from Monday? Well, this is where you should fully master your day. Persephone going into your sixth house represents a physical rebirth. You are no longer bargaining with your time, your health, your energy. You find empowerment through building rock solid, unyielding walls around your daily routines. It's like putting your foot down and then say, no, I have to go to the gym. I cannot stay longer, for example, at work. I've got household chores. I have to pick up the kids and all those type of stuff. So you want your daily routines to be absolutely respected, or you want to be respected for the labor that you put into your work. And with asteroid Lilith entering your seventh house, that's the relationship sector there. So any desire to mask your true thoughts or play nice to keep a partner happy starts vanishing, actually. You will have zero tolerance for double standards, conversational games, manipulative clients, even sometimes some type of gossips and lies that others might be feeding you with. If you're a business owner, a coach, a creator who deals directly with clients or publics, this is actually a green light to speak your true, unfiltered truth, because I'm going to command absolute respect. And then on the 7th of June, the last day of the week, Mercury squares Vesta. So let's wrap up the week on Sunday, unfortunately, with another conflict. It's triggering your 8th and 5th house. So this is a conflict between some back-end business ventures, joint asset responsibilities, and your devotion to a specific creative project, a devotion to a romantic endeavor, or even your personal brand initiatives. Vesta in the 5th house has you completely consumed by a project or a business launch. But Mercury in the 8th house is pulling your brain into taxes, debts, client funding, deep psychological sorting, something that you have to think through, something that is demanding your attention. It's like I have to be making a choice in kind of like a crisis situation, and I don't know what to I don't know what to pay attention to. So let's say you're having conversations about finances, trying to manage your financial obligations while simultaneously trying to express your creative joy, kind of leaves your brain entirely fried. So you have to set a hard boundary, dedicate set hours to audit your joint finances, contract, fine print, and step away completely to let that creative flame burn as well without having a bit of a financial guilt. Because this could be a financial guilt as well. This could even talk to you about you having to focus on your child a lot while you have got work to do at the same time. So it really feels like that this week you are stepping out of a professional validation traps, navigating critical schedule, some type of communication audits, claiming absolute relational and operational sovereignty. And you start speaking with raw authority directly within partnerships. So, good luck, Sagittarius rising, and I will see you next week. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button, and do share your comments because I would like to know how the week is going for you. Take care. Bye bye.